Dismissive avoidance can sometimes omit information, tell little white lies, or outright lie. At best, this is frustrating to the people in their lives, and at worst, lying and betrayal can cause PTSD and end relationships. Now, in this video, I'm going to explain the 4 reasons why they do this, the background story, so that you can understand it and understand that it's not always malicious. And I will also give a few tips for the dismissive avoidant on how to heal this. So you might want to send this video on after you listen to it. Now, the 4 reasons are to avoid conflict. Number 2 is to create space and remain autonomous. Number 3 is to avoid the shame wound. And number 4 is self-preservation. Number 1 is to avoid conflict. Now, dismissive avoidants are not great at conflict. Conflict was never modeled to them in a healthy way. So for them, they think that if I prevent conflict in the relationship by omitting little pieces of information here or there, or telling a little white lie, I am doing the relationship a whole lot of good. Remember, the dismissive avoidant consciously has this big fear of commitment, but subconsciously they have an abandonment core wound. So they're trying to preserve the relationship through omitting information and telling these little white lies, which actually causes more problems in the relationship. You know, when we tell lies, it creates a distance between us and the other people. They can't really get to know us. But for the dismissive avoidant, this is much better to keep everything happy-go-lucky, instead get into a situation that they are just not skilled at resolving. For them, being in conflict is like being sent out into the middle of a rough sea without rows, and they have no idea how to get back to shore. Now, this is not an excuse, and of course we need our partners to commit to a healing journey so that we can curb all of these patterns of behavior that are causing hurt and making the relationship challenging. You are always in charge of how much you tolerate in a relationship. It's very important to know that. And to my dismissive avoidance, it's very important for you to learn conflict resolution skills, because it's going to help you to feel extremely liberated. The actual freedom that you're looking for in your life, it's not really the freedom of being out of a relationship or financial freedom, but the freedom to be fully with the experience that you have, to be fully yourself. And if you can resolve conflict effectively, that gives you an incredible sense of power, adequacy, and freedom. So get some skills, and that will change your life. Now, number 2, the reason why dismissive avoidants sometimes are not fully honest is because they want to create space. And they might omit certain information, and they don't want to reveal everything because they want to have a private life. Autonomy is how they survived. So this is woven into their nervous system. They believe that if they fully surrender and open themselves up to a relationship, they are going to be annihilated, and they're not going to come out very well at the end of that. So they want to create a little piece of safe haven for themselves, whether it's like their finances, or maybe a little night out with the boys, where they still feel, or the girls, where they still feel like they have their own private life. They can rely on themselves, and the relationship doesn't have all of this power to hurt them. Remember, dismissive avoidants are not great at emotional regulation. So for them to go through heartbreak if the relationship doesn't work out is going to be challenging. Yes, at first they might just pull away from the relationship and feel relief and move on very quickly, and you think, oh, you know, the dismissive avoidant didn't really care. But those are just tactics to deal with their broken self-esteem and to prove to themselves that they can still get another partner should the need arise. And later on, they experience this heartbreak maybe 6 months out of the relationship. And often this is when they also come back. Now, Number 3 is to prevent themselves from feeling shame. Dismissive avoidants have a core wound, which is a belief that reads, I am defective, or in other words, it's there is something wrong with me. How this works is that when we are younger, we look at our parents as these all-knowing demigods. They are perfect. They cannot do anything wrong in our eyes. Therefore, if our parents do something to hurt us, we don't see that, oh, dad is having a bad day at work, or mom has an avoidant attachment style. We turn around and think, what am I doing to get this result? It is my fault. Therefore, the dismissive avoidant has this wound of there is something wrong with me. And a lot of them, they actually, this wound prevents them from seeking help. And it's very, very sad, because a lot of dismissive avoidants, once they really open up to you, they will tell you that I feel like there is something so dark inside of me. And if I go to this coaching or spiritual healer or whatever it is, therapist, that they will confirm that I am broken beyond repair. And this is extremely sad. So they will avoid, like the plague, anything that will put them in this position where they might feel like there is something wrong with them. So they will try to keep that mask of being perfect and show the world that they are fine. And this is why they might omit certain pieces of information that they are ashamed of. Also, shame is not something that they register very clearly in their mind. They just feel discomfort. And the minute they feel discomfort in their body, it's like a trip switch that takes them back to their head, and then they start to think something else, or simply go and distract on social media or whatever it is that their favorite pastime activity is. Number 4. The last reason why dismissive avoidants sometimes lie is because they want to protect themselves. Maybe somewhere in their past, their vulnerability was weaponized against them. Maybe when they were voicing their vulnerable feelings, they were in a boarding school where the other children made them feel pathetic and weak for missing their parents, for example. This could also happen in a home situation. So any type of bullying can do this. Also, bullying from their parents, or their parents simply being non-responsive or outright rejecting or hostile, will make the child feel like they want to protect their vulnerability. But the most important part here is that perhaps they shared something vulnerable with somebody, and then it came back at them in conflict, and that vulnerability was weaponized against them. And that will make them protect themselves, because again, that triggers, or created even, the I am defective core wound. So as you can see, the little white lies and lies and omitting information is not always of malicious intent. However, if they get into a relationship with somebody with, say, a fearful avoidant attachment style, or anybody who has been betrayed in the past, whether it's through lying or cheating, this might cause a lot of problems, especially in a fearful avoidant relationship with the dismissive avoidant. And it's important for both parties to really understand each other and create a safe space in the relationship where truth can be the stable factor and just a value that is upheld by both. Because when we have truth, we have full self-expression, there is safety, there is trust, and this is what healthy relationships are built on. So for the dismissive avoidant, what you can do in order to heal all of this is resolve conflict, understand how to manage your emotions and really connect with your emotions on a physical level. So you can go to my website, get the feelings and needs list. Say, for example, you're feeling discomfort in your body, you don't know what it is. Pick a feeling. From the list, I try to identify it. Something, once you scan that list, will click, and then you can feel it like, oh, okay, this feels like sadness. Then go to the needs list, connect it with that, and learn how to verbalize that, learn how to make requests from people, learn how to set boundaries, and learn how to resolve conflict. Once you learn how to resolve conflict, it is going to be so much easier for you to be in any situation and not feel compelled to hide yourself in order just to keep the peace. Now, the next thing is what we do in coaching is reprogramming of the subconscious core wounds so that you can heal your relationship on a subconscious level. The wounds of I'm defective or there's something wrong with me. Really healing that is going to give you so much more freedom in your life. It's going to make you come out of hiding, and finally you'll be able to connect with people, and you will want to connect with people more. You will want to withdraw from society less, because without you knowing it, it is the shame that is causing you to withdraw and need to soothe by yourself. Now, the way that I help people move through shame is to reframe it and really look at shame and the purpose of it. Shame at its core is an emotion that is supposed to connect us with society or keep us in line with society. So at the root of it, shame is a connecting emotion. Even though the way when we experience it, it does disconnect us, but if we really examine the emotion of what it's supposed to do, it is supposed to make us reflect on our behavior and help us to fit into society so that we don't hurt any other members of society. So when we experience shame, we can look at that little inner child within us. You can pick an age, maybe 5, 6, 10, 12, and just honor it and say like, hey, I can see that you really wanted to belong. You wanted to say the right thing. You wanted to do the right thing. You are just so scared that you're going to step out of line and the love is going to be taken away from you. And I really honor this vulnerability inside of you. Reframing shame in that way stops it from being this horrible, yucky feeling and makes us realize that all we want is to feel belonging. And this is a human trait that we all share. This is a story of all humans, how we want to belong, we want to fit in, we want to be a part of something, and also connect us with the challenge of sometimes not fitting in. And that is very beautiful. So changing the relationship to shame can greatly help you to tell the truth. And at the end, when you learn to emotionally regulate and be vulnerable with yourself, honor your own vulnerability, and slowly expose yourself to people who are really safe and test it out. Just become vulnerable. Just tell somebody how much you like spending time with them, or tell them when you are sad and you need to meet with them to feel better. Right? This is not something that is common to dismissive avoidance. So of course, this is going to feel extremely uncomfortable. But this type of exposure therapy over time is going to help you be more comfortable with vulnerability, and it's going to make you feel safer and decrease the need for you to omit the truth or tell any type of lies. And of course, when it comes to big lies that cause you to cheat, you need to look at your needs. Dismissive avoidance can sometimes cheat in relationships because they have unfulfilled needs, and it's unfair to their partner a lot of the time because those needs were most probably not explicitly communicated. And then the dismissive avoidants found themselves in situations where they did cheat. All right. So like I'm saying, if you are the dismissive avoidant, this is just a pathway towards healing. And of course, working with a coach, we can reprogram those core wounds at a subconscious level. And if you are the partner of a dismissive avoidant, then you also have to put some boundaries around this. Of course, helping your partner to have a safe space to express their feelings, their needs, their different opinions, and sometimes asking your partner how they feel and inviting them to take up that space can be beneficial. Of course, if your partner doesn't want to collaborate and work with you on this, then you have to decide if this is the relationship that you really want. I always say that in order for relationships to be healthy, two partners need to be willing to do the work. Not necessarily the same type of work. We can sometimes get to the same place through different means. So say, for example, one partner likes nonviolent communication, another partner is going to see an attachment specialist coach and reprograms their mind. Okay, it doesn't matter how you get there. However, two people need to be able to work on the relationship, or at least be open to getting influence from the healthier partner. Okay, so I've seen this work before in my courses when the one person wasn't doing the course and they had a dismissive avoidant attachment style, and the other person who had a fearful avoidant attachment style did my course, and when she became secure, she could influence her partner, but her partner was open to being influenced, and over time both of them are now in a secure relationship, even though the other partner didn't go to coaching because they were not open to it. So that can work, but only if, like I say, the partner that's not going to therapy is open to being influenced by the more secure person. So I hope this helps you. Let me know in your comments if you've ever experienced this, if you have the trust wound, or if perhaps your dismissive avoidant partner lied to you. You know, betrayal is a serious thing. It depends on the severity of it. It can cause PTSD. It's really unhealthy. So we want to remove these type of behaviors from our relationship so that we can have a life of love, safety, and freedom, and shift from surviving to thriving. Thank you for watching. Till I see you next time. Big love.